So let's go back and look at this apple, because what we're going to start to notice is that the arrangement of those cross contours is going to lead us to a drawing process that we call cross-hatching. What you notice is that the cross contour, if we were to imagine that there's more and more of them in between our Sharpie lines, we could effectively work our way around the object with cross contour lines that filled in the spaces in between all those Sharpie lines. And if those cross contours were drawn with a little bit of curvature, it's going to enhance the sense of the object's roundness or volume. So I've darkened an area in with multiple lines of crosshatch, darkening because at this point, the majority of the area is covered with black and there's only little white spots showing through the gaps, right? That's what crosshatch does. But notice that that form of crosshatch doesn't give us any volume. It doesn't agree with the contours of the object. It doesn't agree with the cross contours of the object. It actually, I've drawn the flattest lines possible. Start by drawing your basic shape of your apple. And then what I'd like you to do is take those contours and cross contours and start to find their shape. Again, remember, it's a feeling game. Drawing is a lot of feeling sometimes. So you can do searching lines that aren't perfect, like I'm doing here, and then you can always reconstruct them more perfectly. Notice how it works. You're going to hold your pencil to get nice controlled crosshatches. You're going to hold your pencil two different ways, depending on how long you want them. So if you want short ones, and that's what we're doing here, I'm on a very small pad, I'm going to hold my pencil like I'm going to write a letter to somebody with what's called the tripod. Okay, thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, create a triangle around your pencil. Your pointer is really doing all the work. Your thumb is just releasing its joint and letting that open and move. So my pointer is really pushing down like a trigger very quickly. And my thumb is simply bending out of the way as it needs to. The middle finger is actually there just to help guide everything. It's not doing much, it's just the middle finger needs to move the way it should. So the middle and the thumb should really be loose and kind of, you want to work on building your flexibility there, and your pointer finger is the one that's going to do this. And so you're going to work that rapidly in this direction, letting the others release. And you could just even spend some time drawing, working on creating a series of hatches in a direction. Now notice when I'm doing this, if I want to change direction, I have to really move my hand because my pointer finger is going to move that pencil in a certain pattern. So the second way you can do this is with the wrist. I'm going to hold everything with the tripod. I'm not going to move my fingers. Watch my fingers stay still. And I'm going to use my wrist. It's really just the wrist that's rotating right here. The fingers stay put and the wrist does the movement. The fingers aren't moving at all. That's another version. And then finally, the last version that I'd like to show you is if you want to go really huge with hatching, You're going to hold the pencil not in the tripod grip like this, where the pencil goes over your knuckle of your pointer finger. You're going to want to take the pencil and move it this way so that the butt of the pencil is in your palm, right in that notch at the end of your lifeline. So the butt end of the pencil goes into the lifeline notch, and then you grab the pencil really with the thumb and the pointer finger. And when you hold it this way, you want the pencil to be an extension of your thumb. Relax the pointer finger. The pointer finger wants to just grab in a relaxed way. Okay, you're not trying to stab your pencil to death with a pointer finger that's stabbing the edge. You're just going to let it fall under. Think about a conductor conducting an orchestra with a baton. You want to hold that tool in a very relaxed way. This is what's called the open hand. And I'm now going to use my wrist, but watch what happens. By stretching the length of the pencil out and using my wrist, I can make very long hatch lines, moving slowly across the page. So to make extremely long cross hatches, it wants to come from the open hand and the wrist. The tiniest cross hatches want to come from just the pointer finger and the thumb releasing in the tripod grip. Remember the three different types: tripod grip, wrist is firm, doing nothing, and you're able to make such tiny cross hatches, they're going to almost feel like dots. Then tripod grip, the wrist works, the fingers do nothing. So firm fingers moving the wrist. Now, the wrist is always going to move in a direction like this. Your wrist doesn't really want to move this way. It's very hard on it to go this way. It works well this way, inward. So you want to think about that direction as being the way that the wrist is moving. Now, my wrist is facing this way, and my lines are moving almost from like 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock. If I want them to go from noon to 6, I need to move the wrist so that my lines can come downward. If I want them to go from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I need to rotate the wrist more because, again, the wrist wants to always move in that direction.